Sometimes, a Viking is born who carries the spark of gods. Raiders, we call them. It is a name that can summon armies. Ruthless, fearless, made for battle. The Dane axe was the mightiest weapon of our ancestors. They wield it without mercy. The moment of a Viking's death is chosen by fate. So what use have they of armor? Or of fear?
All right, folks, we're moving on to the Viking faction, and for honor, and kicking things off with the Raider. But anyway, before we get into the Raider, let's also talk about the Viking faction historically. Viking can roughly translate as one who raids, or the act of raiding. There's actually a scene in the story mode that kind of made me a little bit mad. Here it is.
What you've done is wrong. You feast while all around you people starve. You and your warriors will learn to live like the rest of us. Or you will become food for crows. Child! Might as well ask me to pick up farming! We're Vikings. So that's a no. Valhalla.
Now, when he says, I might as well pick up farming, well, he could have. Scandinavians and Norsemen did farm and cultivate food and crops. I mean, it's not like they didn't. Why would anyone want to settle in a land where they couldn't live properly? There's this common misconception that Vikings just lived in these cold, harsh environments where they couldn't grow their own food, so they just stole it from other people. That's entirely incorrect. What Vikings really were is they were basically pirates. They were raiders. They would go from place to place and steal valuables, loot, sometimes women and children. There was some belief that they actually stole women as wives, and sometimes they would, if their land that they were living on was too cold or they couldn't cultivate it properly, they would raid other lands to take their fertile lands. That was something that was common. But think about it, guys. Let's go back to that myth that they only stole food. I think that part of that comes from, and we've kind of romanticized the Vikings a little bit. We've kind of made them into these legends. So we try to say, well, they weren't that bad. I mean, they stole what they had to survive. That makes it seem a little bit better, right? Well, let's think about that logically. If you're going across the sea to steal food, like perishable food, and then you've got to sail that crap back, it would probably spoil by the time you got back, right? No, what the Vikings did was they raided for loot, they raided for money, they raided for women, they raided for land. They were essentially pirates. Now, am I taking away from their battle prowess? Absolutely not. There's a whole era of European history called the Viking era exactly for that reason. And there's a lot to talk about with Norse culture, mythology, history. There's a lot we could go into. I'm not saying the Viking history is bad. I'm not saying I dislike Vikings as a whole. What I am saying is let's be historically honest here. Vikings were not these noble warriors who only stole what they needed to survive. Scandinavians and Norsemen, Vikings went out to steal things. Not food. Not what they just needed to survive. They would steal a lot of other stuff. But we'll go into that a little bit later. We'll talk about that as we go through the Viking faction. So now with all that out of the way, let's talk Raider. The vanguard of the Vikings, they're huge and fiercely powerful warriors, and this guy right here is a force to be reckoned with. You know, when I think of the Raider, I think of a symbol, you know, someone that others rally around. He's tall enough to stand out, and when things need to be done, people rush to him to be their guide or their support. He's not a peacemaker, but he's one who stands out from the crowd and someone that others either look up to with reverence or someone that they look to with fear. Raider's a beast. nothing else for it. And I'll bet those biceps alone could probably stop an arrow, you know. But you know what? Speaking of which, let's take a look at that armor. All right, so this is the default Raider look. If you watched the Raider trailer, you heard them say this.
The moment of a Viking's death is chosen by fate. So what use have they of armor?
And my answer to that is, lots of need. There is a lot of need for armor. Like, all the need right now. This is probably the first time I'm really going to hound on the armor here, because well, we're totally lacking it. And this isn't like Gladiator, where it was historically accurate. Gladiators in actual history didn't wear chest protection, so I was okay with that. But here, Vikings did wear chest protection. They did wear armor. You know, you could get gambesson, you could get some leather armor, you could get some chainmail even. Anything to cover up your chest. I mean, that's a giant target. You're going to die. I don't care how many ab workouts you do. I don't care how many push-ups you're capable of. If someone puts an arrow in your chest and there's nothing to protect it, you're dead. So this may be the first time where I really say, golly, you needed better armor. You really, really needed better armor. And you might be saying, well, Cliff, why is that? Well, first of all, people always say, well, Vikings lived in these cold, difficult climates. First of all, if that's true, why on earth would they dress this way? Secondly, Vikings are warriors. The Norsemen were warriors. They know better than to run out in nothing. It's common sense. They want to live. They want to raid and steal stuff, and then they want to live longer to spend what they stole. I will say that some other stuff is all right. I like the leather shoulder guards here. The pants and the kind of sash thing are kind of nice. I like the bone ornament there. The helmet is actually pretty good. I like the helmet, but as you'll see later, you can add ornaments to it, and some of the ornaments that you can add aren't quite accurate. But you know what? We'll forgive it because, you know, even though it's not historically accurate to have horns on these helmets, it's still pretty cool. The beard kills it for me. I'm not a big fan of that beard. That whole braided beard thing with the ring in it, that just looks weird. And then if you look back here, you got a really long braided ponytail with a ring in that. I'm sorry, that just looks stupid. I want to tie a rope around that and just have him pull a plow or something. That looks really stupid. That's why I made my Raider a female. This is my Raider. The hair is a little bit cut. It's cut a little bit short. The horns are not accurate, but again, they're cool, so I'll allow it. We got some spikes on those shoulder protectors, and yeah, again, there's no chest protection here, but at least we've got a little bit more to cover it up. At least we've got some cloth, at the very least. But there are some other armor that the Raider was given, but they look like. They make them look like a butcher, you know, it doesn't, or a blacksmith. It doesn't make them look very appealing. The mask helmet here, I swear, she looks like a serial killer. It looks really funny. Now let's talk about that Dane axe. Okay, I want to go back to the default just real quick. The Dane axe here is a real weapon. How it was used, I want you to picture yourself chopping a tree or chopping a log. That's the general idea. Now the funny thing is the Dane axe head here is actually a little thicker than what a real Dane axe head would look like. Now going back to my version, this is an event Dane axe. This is an event that I got during playing one of the I think new seasonal events. So it's a little bit thematic, but I still think it looks really, really cool. They're very heavy weapons. What I like about these weapons is once you get the momentum going in the swing, they're very brutal and it's very hard to stop. So definitely an excellent weapon. And you know, a lot of people look at that head and go, wow, that's real deadly. But you know, the Raider's going to show you how she uses all parts of that weapon, including the pommel and the shaft. So with all that said, you're now introduced to Raider. Let's talk about how they fight. Raider has a 3-hit maximum strike combo with his lights and his heavies. The second heavy in any combo gives him hyper armor, which means that he can't be interrupted while doing it, which is a very nice feature. And the lights are incredibly fast, which makes them very hard to predict and stop. I like using lights as a good opener to get a combo started, and you'd be surprised how very easy it is to throw off an opponent by mixing up the direction sometimes. Now, Another thing that we should bring up right now before we go any further is the zone attack. Raider has access to an unblockable zone attack. He can do it one of two ways. If he does it from a passive stance like this, he'll always come from his left side. But he can also do it mid-combo. If he does that, he'll come from the right side. Now, most people don't like using the zone attack too often because it is highly telegraphed and easy to parry. But this is where we get into the next part of Raider's moveset. Raider has the unique ability to soft feint out of any heavy attack to do one of two things. He can either soft feint out of a heavy attack to do a top light head tap, like that, or he can soft feint into a guard break. Once you guard break someone, Raider has access to another little ability, which I like to call going for a ride. As you can see, once you guard break someone, you can actually run with them over your shoulder for a little bit. You will lose a little bit of stamina, but they will lose a lot of stamina as you go forward. And if you manage to reach a wall or solid object with them, you can actually do a knee strike, which is good for a small amount of damage and stamina drain. It also stuns them, making it easier to get in another set of combo hits. So this is all very, very useful, and the Raider is very, very good at it. This is why a lot of people have treated the Vikings as the Ledge Lords. The Raider and the Warlord, who we'll get to later, both have this ability to take a person and run with them across the map, like so, and cause all kind of problems, especially if you're near a ledge. This has driven a lot of people mad with anger when dealing with them. Now, a couple things also to say about the Raider. Really, the Raider's pretty basic. The whole game with the Raider is to mix up your different attacks, soft feint out into your guard breaks or your top lights. I fought tons of people who would trick me with their unblockable zone attacks just to hit me in the head, and then once I started anticipating that, they would just hit me with the unblockable. It's pretty basic. Unfortunately, that's about it to say about the Raider. There's not a lot to them. If I had to give any thoughts or advice on how to use them effectively, I would have to recommend going somewhere else besides me. It's not that I'm bad at Raider, far from it. I actually do all right with Raider, but it's just there's not a lot of good advice I can give that I haven't already given. Truthfully, I'm not super awesome with Raider, so take this next advice with a little bit of salt. But here's what I'll say. Mix up the direction of your attacks. Always open up with a light attack or a zone attack so that you can keep your opponent guessing where you're going to come from. Soft feint into your guard breaks. Don't be careful with how much stamina you waste, like I just did there. I wasted way too much stamina trying to get through this. Raider's not good against Shugokis and other heavies unless they're willing to really trade those unblockables. But after a while, the unblockables do get easy to predict. So eventually, even a heavy will manage to, and yep, just like that, be able to anticipate and then punish me for it. So the way I see it, your best goal: start with a stunning attack, go in for your unblockable, keep them guessing. If you can start a good combo going, then eventually you'll start hitting them. But really, Raider is the basics of basics. Much like Warden, to play Raider effectively, just understand your moveset, understand what you have at your disposal, and just enjoy Raider for what they are. If you're new to the game and having a lot of trouble figuring out some of these more advanced movesets for different characters, stick with Raider, because Raider can take a lot of beatings and deliver a lot of beatings in equal succession. So, not a bad character to start out with. I do recommend trying out the Raider. But enough about that, guys. We'll come back with the executions. Alright folks, so now it's time to take a look at the Raider's executions. Really excited, and we're judging this the exact same way we did last time. We're looking at how realistic it is, whether or not it's a little too goofy, a little too silly, then it loses points. You know, we wanted to keep it somewhat realistic, you know, we want to make sure that it could actually kill somebody, and that it also has to fit with the character's personality. So, let's go ahead and get started. Lost my head. I missed the first part of that. Could we see it again? Alright, yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm going to give that one, I think, a solid 9 out of 10. I think that's pretty good. I don't know, I feel like the head came off a little too easy with that kick. It's not bad. No, I like it. I really do. It's fast. It's real cool. It flows real nicely. Kind of the bitch slap thing looks good, looks right for the raider, but just, I don't know, maybe came off a little too easy, but I don't know, 9 out of 10 works. So bullet. Very nice. I like it. 10 out of 10. I think that's a perfect one. You know, you got the charge, which looks great. It very much matches the Raiders' vanguard mindset. Just slam them into the air. Boom. Very cool. And then into the gut. Excellent. Very, very nice. Definite 10 out of 10. From the beard. Alright, so yeah, that one's, I'm gonna be real honest, it feels like that first one again. Except for that looks really funny, that strike to the side of the head. Then grips him right there, pulls back, kicks. I don't know, this one feels a little bit more real to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because by putting him on the ground and it's creating more tension rather than just a very quick kick to knock the head off. Instead, it feels like it's taking a bit more effort, pull back, then getting it off. Yep, okay. I'll give this one a 10 out of 10. It meets the Raiders style. It's very much Raider-esque, and it just feels real to me. So, yeah, 10 out of 10. Axe uppercut. Ooh, see it again? Wow. I wasn't expecting Raider to have so many good ones. Yeah, this one feels like a 10 out of 10. Solid hit. Considering how strong the Raider is, I could definitely see some air time there, some hang time. Yeah. Boom. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I like it. That's good. That's good. Bloody Hall. I don't know. I gotta give this one a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's cool, and I like the sling like that, but could he really send him that far? And then, I don't know, maybe I was expecting more than what we got, but 7 out of 10 feels fair to me. 7 out of 10. Yeah, Bloody Hall. What a joke. What?
I love to laugh.
Okay, I don't get the laugh, but that's pretty funny. Just yank them in, they're dead. Get out of here, you. Okay. 9 out of 10. Little too jokey to be 10 out of 10, but pretty awesome. Okay, I'll give you that one. That's pretty awesome.
We love to laugh.
You know you're as bad as he is.
I'm sorry, Mary Poppins.
It's a Norse trap. Ooh. Very nice. Okay, I gotta go 10 out of 10 on this. This is a great feat execution. Many of the Vikings have a bear trap feat that they can use, and this is such a good way to use it. I love it right up to the snap around the head. The sound is great, and then twisting the head around. Oh, it's so nice. I mean, he's dead right there. And done. Oh, that's nice. Brutal, but nice. It's kind of scary, actually. Ooh. One more time. Ooh. It's good. All right. Choke slam. Oh my gosh. Very guillotine-esque. Are we sure that wasn't a Lawbringer execution? Slam to the ground. Very good. And then... Oh, it's awful. Imagine what that's doing to the dude's fingers as they try to hold it up. Look at the fingers again. Oh, this is... Oh my gosh. Oh... I can just picture it cutting right through my fingers. It's so awful. Okay. That is a definite 10 out of 10. Very much a 10 out of 10. Oh, that's scary. Moving on. Viking press backbreaker.
Skulls for the skull throne! Blood for the blood god!
I have no words. I have no words for that. 10 out of 10. That is just... That was like a pro wrestling move. It was like... I have expected him to scream a pro wrestling phrase right there. Oh my gosh. 10 out of 10. Just nothing else for it. 10 out of 10. That is awesome. Aegir's Tide, or Aegir's Tide. I'm going to go 8 out of 10 on this one. Not because it doesn't feel realistic. That feels good, but I don't know. It's kind of like Bloody Hall. I expected a bit more out of it. But I like the initial hit. Feels good. Like, look at the way he smacks. Bam. Strike to the stomach and spin. And I like that the Warden's body seems to have weight to it. It feels heavy. It feels like there's mass. So it's actually taking some effort to sling them. Very nice. So 8 out of 10. Feels good. Headhunting. Ooh. Now that was fast. One more time. Oh, and then the body stumbles away. Oh, that's terrible. 10 out of 10, though. That's great. Great use of the Vikings axe. Great little walk away. Oh, that's terrifying, but it's so good. 10 out of 10. Gosh darn it, Raider. You shouldn't have this many good executions. Pure force. A little basic. I'll go 6 out of 10 on this one. 6 out of 10. It's just basic. Just sling them to the ground and then smash. Yeah. Not really that elaborate. Kind of basic, but fits. I mean, it fits, but just compared to what we just saw, that's basic. Traditional Viking salute. Ooh. One more time. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. Only for one reason. When I saw the punch, I thought, would the punch really kill someone? But then I realized, no, it's not really the punch so much as the axe in the gut. The axe in the gut would be deadly. But there's still, look, axe in the gut, but then he's still alive here to take that punch. So, I don't know. 7 out of 10. Play it safe. 7 out of 10. One more time. Yeah, 7 out of 10 works. Gutbuster. Oh my god. Show that again? Oh! You remember the Conqueror's execution, the low blow shot where he hits him in the groin? No, this is worse than that. This is horrible. Oh! And look at his arms when he gets hit. Look at this. Oh! Oh! I felt that. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. That's just scary. Oh, no, I can't see it again. Neckbreaker. Okay, basic. Pretty cool, though. I mean, it's a little different, not using the axe to do it, at the very least, you know. There you go. Yeah, broke the neck. Okay, it's cool. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 again. 7 out of 10. It's good. At least it's a little creative. Skullcracker. Ooh. Okay, yeah, not bad. I expected the head to be more pulverized than that. But it works. And I believe it, too. That feels like a real execution. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. We'll go 9 out of 10. But, again, pretty basic. And that is it, everybody. That is all the Raider execution. So, final thoughts on Raider. I don't know what to tell you guys. Raider's a very basic hero. If you're new to the game and on the struggle train, play Raider. Raider's moveset is very simple to figure out, very easy to use, good at taking punishment while giving it. The heavies are fast if telegraphed. The lights are incredibly fast. If you can figure out your opponent's style and understand your moveset, you'll get the hang of her very quickly. Again, just an easy character to really grasp. If I had to offer any advice, don't rely too much on your unblockables. It can become a crutch, and don't treat it like one. Treat it as a way to bamboozle your opponent. Throw in those unblockables, but feint out of them into the top light attack, so that you make your opponent think, oh, he's not actually going to throw those unblockables. He's never going to throw a real unblockable. It's just always going to be a stun tap, and then throw them off when you actually do throw an unblockable. it's a mix-up game. Because Raider's moveset is so simple, you have to survive on a mix-up game. You have to mess with your opponent. But that's the best I can say about Raider. So, done with that. Pretty much a basic hero to get us started. Now it's time for us to prepare for the ballerina dancer of the Viking faction, the Berserker. See you then, guys.